welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. One of the characteristics of a free society with free people is the ability of its citizens to speak freely without fear of being subject to retaliations. Now obviously there are some limitations and there is, we all know them, but those are very, very small ones, should not increase. So whenever in this context of Russia, we've been bombarded with the mass media's reports and assessments and all that Russia is a dictatorship and over there it's a tyranny. Well, if that would be the case, people would refrain from speaking up or speaking out freely. Therefore, you're afraid of retaliations. In this case, a military operation, special military operation initiated by Russian Federation doesn't go according to plan, to put it mildly and be euphemistically correct. Now you would say that everybody would shut their mouth up and not say anything, but on the contrary, you have people not only on the TV but people in the leadership position criticizing and criticizing people, not just the operation. So they point fingers. Now you tell me if this happens really in other countries, if you know what I mean. Even if things go bad, or even if certain things occur, you maybe have one outlet and one individual on the news here that would speak up. The rest are just going along with the script. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about, for example, about Ramzan Kadyrov, the Chechen leader, who is, loose cannon or however you want to call this guy. But the fact that he, and he's not the only one, has the courage to speak up and call names and provide in his mind suggestions to how the things could be changed into better situation. He speaks that they are allowed to speak and say whatever they feel about this kind of difficult situation Russia is in, they agree or not. Now it's not only that. I watched and I read some other articles coming from Russia, and they freely speak about the disaster of the operation. They criticized. No, we were told that Putin is the one who's gonna jail and poison and kill everyone who's gonna just look at him sideways. This article comes from The Insider, so it's not a Russian media outlet, from October 2nd, 2022. This is the title. Putin allies bashed Russia's retreat from a city in Ukraine, Liman being, calling military leaders garbage and saying they should be sent barefoot with machine guns straight to the front. Now, did you hear anybody about, Afghanistan, United States, calling someone, maybe not like that, but maybe they, close to that, for the success in Afghanistan? Or look at the success in Iraq, for instance. Do you know that the Turks are bombarding Iraq as we speak? They killed Kurds in Iraq? Well, if you didn't know, I'm going to make a video on that after this one. So, you see, all these places where they intervened and they fixed things, look at Gaddafi. They failed. Not all, but in the last 20 years, 25 years at least. So then, was anybody called out? Was anybody, in the United States, have you heard that been, uttered? No, why? Because we live in a free country, right? Where we auto-censor. We censor ourselves. Why? Because we're afraid. Why are we afraid? Because we're just tards? No, but there are examples, and the mass media is very keen in providing examples. When they say, well, a teacher was fired for criticizing, let's say, Kamala Harris and this and that and whatever. You should be allowed to do that in a free country. And they always put forth this kind of news, not to inform you necessarily, but to make you go back into submission over there and censor yourself. So Russian troops retreated from Liman, a Ukrainian city in Donetsk region, on Friday. The retreat came one day after Putin claimed the region was part of Russia. powerful allies to Putin said Russian military leaders should be punished over the retreat. Alright, so let's see what's going on here. We have obviously in a post on Telegram, Ramzan Kadyrov, leader of Chechnya and an ally of Putin's, said Russian military leadership has covered for an incompetent general that should be sent to the front to wash his shame off with blood, according to New York Times translation. Now, for my Western mild-mannered friends, this sounds very, very tribal and very, very backwards. But in some countries, truth and feelings are expressed freely. I went through a system where people were talking like that, and I can give you examples, and I will give you after I read this little article here, or parts of it, about my school teachers, how they were talking about certain issues. And you will understand that it was a normality, a norm, the norm in those countries to call things the way you feel or you think of them, instead of trying to use euphemisms and not hurt anybody's feelings. Even that person is a criminal, don't hurt the criminals. Don't call a criminal a criminal. Call him something, I don't know, maybe undocumented or something. Alright, let's move on. Another prominent supporter and close confidant of Putin, oligarch Yevgeny Prigozhin, echoed those sentiments in a statement referring to Russia's military generals. He said, "Send all those pieces of garbage barefoot with machine guns straight to the front," the Times reported. Now, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has come under fire recently and been accused of military failing, especially after Ukraine's successful counteroffensive in September. So, go and wash your sins with blood and barefoot with this. Kadyrov also said that those generals should be stripped of their medals, which they have a bunch, I don't know from where, but if you look at them, they all have like this medal that they go sideways because they're so heavy, and I don't understand where from. Anyway, they should be stripped of those and sent straight to the front line. That's how it used to be in our civilization, if you remember, in the Second World War, in the First World War. You know, you should be demoted and you should be straight to the front, sent right there. Now, failures are over there, but if you feel that, and if you know that you failed, you should just retreat and say, you know what, I'm out of here. Let someone better than me do it. I failed, all right. When did you hear another politician in the United States, for instance, saying, you know what, I'm a piece of garbage. I should just let someone else better than me be, I don't know, leading or representing the community. You don't hear that anymore. Why is not? You hear them only when they are caught, you know, I don't know, in some very, very shady situations with children or with multiple women or with drugs and all that. Only then. But otherwise, if they fail in their duties, they don't do that. Why? Why should they? What are the repercussions? They're up there. Now you can say, well, just a second, we have Kadyrov, and Kadyrov is a friend of Putin, and Yarman, a confidant. Yeah, but criticizing Shoigu, you also criticize Putin, because who appointed Shoigu? Putin, so he's a piece of garbage. Shoigu and others, change them, put another one. And these guys are still alive. And I watched, as I said, videos from Russian media, and I read articles in Sputnik, and not only. They freely talk about, and no problem talking and calling people garbage and whatever. Now, when I was in the, let's say I'm going to start with my first years of understanding how, you know, that's a human being, that's a dog, that's a piece of whatever. That's let's say in the first grade, second, third, and so on. I had a teacher, and that teacher was very straight, very fair. I don't know about fair, but he was trying to instill in us the spirit of, you know, fairness and justice and all that. He was pushing it. I came to understand later that way too far. But anyway, he was calling things as they were. He was not afraid to call things like that. And then after that, you go and you meet people, not only in your family, but people as friends, people in a society. This sun is killing me, as always in the morning. They would call things as they are, and they will not refrain from calling a garbage if the behavior, the act fits the term. Not like here, you are always mild. I'm understanding that, but sometimes you have to be straight. Otherwise, people don't understand the urgency of the situation. If you don't say someone, hey, move right now. Oh, you know what, how about you would just change your location because you're such a great person, because a 5 ton piece of thing is gonna fall from that construction site on your head. You don't talk like that. You grab the guy and save his life. But anyway, people talk over there, and those guys should be sent, maybe not the front like that, but demoted and out, changed. If not demoted, but out. What happens to you if you at work, huh? Do you get a bonus? Do you stay on the same position? No, something happens to you, and it should. If it's a pattern, and it seems like here it's already a pattern, you have a few strikes. Oh, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. How many you got? You gotta be out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.